Alright, see you, bro.
Hey everyone, I'm Aiden with Community Transit, and today I've prepared a bit of a 2-in-1 combo video. I'll be showing you guys the basics of riding transit using this little gym trip as an example, and I'll also be telling you a bit about my own transit story, how I started riding transit, why I love riding transit, and why I will continue to ride transit as far as I can. As you guys saw, my friend Ivan dropped me off at Ashway Park and Ride. If you don't know what a park and ride is, they're places where people will park their cars and ride transit. So they're places where lots of buses will converge, meaning they're great for getting access to a lot of different routes in your area. Ashway Park and Ride is especially useful if you don't want to deal with all the stress of traffic and parking around the Linwood Transit Center. Now getting back to the actual trip, I'm headed to the UW IMA to get a good workout in, and that would require a pretty terrible drive, but that's not going to be a problem since I'm riding transit the whole way. Now, although navigating transit is almost second nature to me, I understand if it can be difficult for those who don't use it often. I personally prefer Google Maps, but many transit agencies, such as Community Transit, offer useful services on their websites, such as our Trip Planner, that can give you great directions depending on your starting and end point. Or our route information pages that can show you the maps of various routes as well as their schedules depending on the time, day, and direction. Also note that your stop may not be a key stop, so to view the schedule of a non-key stop, switch from key stops to all stops on the Community Transit website. The first leg of this trip is taking the 512, a regional Sound Transit express bus operated by Community Transit, which will take me straight from Ashway to the Linwood City Center station via I-5. I always get to my stop a few minutes ahead of schedule, just in case the bus comes early. I then check the bus flag to make sure I'm getting on at the right stop. Also note that at every bus flag, you'll find an attached schedule displaying the scheduled arrival times for any bus that stops there. And now that the bus has arrived and come to a stop, it's time for us to board. Although you can pay with cash, most transit agencies around here use the Orca card. You simply tap the card on the reader and you're charged the appropriate fare. You can load money onto the card as needed, or you can even get a monthly pass. Most importantly, tapping in an Orca card gives you a free 2-hour transfer window, meaning you don't have to pay twice to connect to another service. Now that I'm comfortably seated and passing by traffic in the carpool lane, let's talk a bit about my own transit story. Like most transit riders, I started riding when I was a young teenager, taking the 119 to school every morning. I didn't have a driver's license, nor could I afford the cost of car ownership even when I got one, so riding the bus was how I got around town. And as the years went by and I developed a desire for more independence as most teens do, I wanted to see and explore new places and go try new things. Of course, I did think about saving up for a car, but that was when on the way to Edmonds College in the fall of 2022, a community transit service ambassador came up to me and told me that Washington had made all transit free for those under 19 years old. And it was then that the choice became obvious to me. 9 minutes after hopping on, we've arrived at the 512's final stop, Linwood Transit Center. As we exit through the back door, let's say thanks to our bus driver, as it's their hard work that makes public transit possible. From here, we'll hop on the 1 line, which is Sound Transit's most utilized light rail line. The 1 line will take us from Linwood City Center Station to the University of Washington Station in a consistently swift 24 minutes. Even as someone who rides now as an adult, the youth ride free policy was a game changer. I didn't have to worry about affording travel or getting rides from my friends. There was no worrying about gas prices, car payments, parking, or maintenance. Even though transit is far from perfect, with just my legs and a youth Orca card, I could go up north to Everett Station, or even down south to Tacoma Dome. All of that travel for $0.00. But beyond the benefits to my wallet, I find that taking transit benefits my mental as well. Driving is the riskiest activity most people perform on a daily basis, and anyone who gets stuck in a traffic jam every day knows it can also be stressful and tiring. Yes, taking transit isn't always the most direct or fastest way to get around, but at least I can sit back, listen to music, watch videos, read a book, or just enjoy the views of the outside from my seat. And now we have arrived at the University of Washington station. From here, I'll only need to walk for about 7 minutes under the sun to reach the IMA, and I guess you can call those extra steps an added benefit of transit. That wraps up the first part of our little transit journey together. I'll catch you guys on the way back. After that little gym session, it's time for us to take transit back home. The first leg of this return trip involves another swift ride on the 1 line, from the University of Washington station to the Linwood Transit Center, which first requires a whole 3 flights of escalators if you're not taking the elevator. Although transit is generally safe, it's understandable to have concerns, so you may be pleased to know that transit agencies are taking note and are beefing up their security. And once I can actually get a hold onto my backpack, it's time to hop on this busy evening train. And if there's one silver lining about being on busy trains, it's that they serve as a good sign that transit is being well utilized and is helping to ease some of the insane congestion we have in our city. Now you've already heard plenty from me, so take a moment to enjoy some of the views I get to enjoy on transit. To get back home, I'll be taking a local route, Community Transit's 103, which, despite being obviously slower than a highway express bus, passes by some pretty nice local spots and is one of the agency's highest ridership local routes. And though I may not be elevated on a train, sometimes views from a grounded bus aren't half bad, especially when the sunset hits just right. And with our trusty bus driver at the wheel, there's no other drivers I need to worry about. More housing being built for more people to move into, it's good to know that our transit is receiving more investment to attract more riders. And now that I see my stop is next on the light up banner, I pull the string to let the driver know that I'm getting off at the next stop.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on today's transit journey. I thank you all for coming with me, and as I wave goodbye to my bus today, I hope that you now feel excited to wave hello to your bus tomorrow.